Republicans are gearing up to hold a procedural vote on their new skinny stimulus bill on Thursday. For more on that relief measure, I do want to bring in the founder of Markowski Investments, Chris Markowski. Hi, Chris. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon.
So starting off, what's your take on this scaled-down plan that was drafted by Republicans?
I like the moniker, the skinny. It seems to keep getting skinnier and skinnier as we go along. We first had it was over a $3 trillion bill from the Democrats, and the Republicans came out with their counter back in July. It was like 1.7. This one is down with $400 billion. And even from the looks of this, looks like another bill that's dead on arrival. Mitch McConnell still has about 20 Republican senators that haven't signed on to this. They really don't want to do anything at all at this point in time based upon the most recent economic numbers and job numbers and the fact that our deficit's over $3 trillion at this point.
This GOP bill does include something you and I have talked a lot about, liability protections for businesses. Is that key to being able to get the economy back on track at this point?
It's key. And a great thing about it, Greta, it doesn't cost a dime, which is fantastic. It doesn't cost a dime to pass this. And this is something that we need to get done as soon as possible. There is just a myriad of businesses out there that are still nervous about having some tort attorney walk in their door saying, my client got COVID in your store. How they know that, I don't know, but they'll sue based upon that. And to protect those businesses, nonprofits, schools, you name it, is key right now.
The latest NFIB kind of small business optimism index rose more than expected last month, but there's still a pretty high measure of businesses that say they're uncertain about the future. How much of that is impacted by the uncertainty of whether or not they'll be protected if they reopen their doors?
I think there's no doubt about it, Greta, that's most certainly a part of their skepticism and making them worry. There's also an election coming up. One of the candidates that's running said, hey, listen, he has no problem at all with shutting the country back down again. That's a frightening prospect. You get certain people into power that really seem to enjoy these shutdowns and government control. That's a scary position to be in if you're a small business owner.
The back and forth on stimulus has been centered around the price tag of the bill. You mentioned this earlier, Democrats wanting to spend at this point more than $2 trillion. Republicans, though, raising concerns about the surging deficit. Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany did say earlier today addressing the debt is a big second-term priority for President Trump. How important is it to address that issue?
Whether it be Republican or Democrat, it doesn't really seem to matter. If Republicans are in power, Democrats seem to sometimes be concerned about the spending and vice versa. Republicans all of a sudden find religion when there's a Democrat in the White House, like they went after spending under Barack Obama. It almost seems at this point in time that the Federal Reserve and the United States Treasury has merged, and they're just working together to print as much money as possible. Again, to try to get your arms around the type of spending and the type of debt that this nation is in right now, it's a scary thing. At some point in time, one would believe that we're going to hit a wall, and inflation is going to be a major part of this. You had Stanley Druckenmiller come out today and say, hey, listen, it wouldn't surprise him at all that we'd have 10% inflation. The only thing that's basically saving us right now is that all the world is in the same boat.
All right, and quickly on the market, last time we talked, tech was on an absolute tear. Got a pretty big correction there this week, very quick correction in the stock market. Today we're back in the positive. Was that correction needed to balance out the market in the tech industry?
Oh, I think so. And I don't. Quite frankly, I think many of these tech stocks still have some ways to go to the downside. But again, you're trying to guess when that's going to happen is a complete exercise in futility. I mean, I lived through the 1990s, and many of these companies that you could see on day one that they were overvalued took a while before they came back down to reality. But most certainly with many of these companies, look out below. Make sure you're looking for value.
All right, Chris Markowski, the founder of Markowski Investments, joining us to discuss the latest on stimulus talks on Capitol Hill. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
You got it.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.